Hello, this is High Templar, welcome back to my Total War Warhammer mechanics videos. And today we will be talking about Bretonnian Royal Pegasus Knights. Those guys are top tier Pegasus with cavalry, and they are top tier in many ways. They are quite amazing. They have few abilities, but we will talk about stats and abilities in a moment. Let's first see how those guys, costing 1600, will take on a Forest Dragon, which is another very impressive beast from the Wood Elves. So, let's have a go. This is me charging versus AI, so the computer does something very silly and stopped. And just after a few seconds of the fight, we can see that the Forest Dragon is taking some heavy damage, whereas Royal Pegasus Knights have 0 damage. 0 damage at all. So, and he's taking a lot of damage in few seconds of the fight. But after that, it quiets down a bit. Those guys are now poisoned, dealing 49 damage only. But obviously the Forest Dragon cannot stand against the might of the Royal Pegasus Knights. So, they seem to be quite amazing. They've beaten this Forest Dragon almost no problem, right? Well, it's not that simple. Let's have a look. Firstly, let's go into the stats. And the Pegasus Knights available for all Bretonnian factions, like Godolo. We have two different kinds. We have Royal Pegasus Knights. Actually, let's switch to Bretonnia. It will be simpler here. So, two different kinds of Pegasus Knights. First Pegasus Knights and Royal Pegasus Knights. They cost 400 more than the Pegasus Knights that we know, although those aren't really the ones we know. They were changed on the 28th of February. But the Royal Pegasus Knights are stronger, a bit stronger. They have 10 more melee attack, 6 more melee defense, 5 more weapon strength, and 14 more charge bonus. In itself, that's not enough to pay 400 more of it for this unit. However, we have also few abilities. We have Immune to Psychology, we have Blessing of the Lady, plus 20% physical resistance, which is quite amazing, as you might imagine. We have Immune to Vigor, right? So we can cycle charge them all the way, and bonus versus large for those guys are 12. Those bonus large is only 10. Also, armor piercing damage for normal Pegasus Knights is 14, wherever this plus 5 weapon strength is all into armor piercing, going up to 19. So, this in itself is quite a boost. Those guys are very amazing, and at this point I really don't understand why you would want to pick Pegasus Knights, not the Royal Pegasus Knights. Unless you are against enemy that's sporting heavily magical damage. But even against the Wood Elves, those guys still seem to be quite amazing, as you've seen obviously a moment ago. Now, so this is for the stats itself. Let's have a quick look into the battles, and this time let's see how those guys will deal. Well, we know that the AI can't really charge very well, so what will happen when the Forest Dragon will actually charge the Royal? Because in the previous example you've shown, the AI just stopped before charging. He knew that he will lose charging. So the opposite situation here. And let's see that fight close up. As you can see, it's much worse, but the dragon is losing a lot of health in first seconds of the encounter. This is due to the charge bonus of the Royal Pegasus Knights is 60. You would say that, well, the Forest Dragon has 63, but that's not working like that. It's very simple. The charge bonus is being added to both the attack and weapon strength of the Forest Dragon. However, while the attack makes charge bonus makes all the attacks of the Forest Dragon to actually hit the target, the weapon strength plus 63 to already 450 doesn't change that much. Wherever for the Royal Pegasus Knights, especially when they are poisoned, 49 damage only is being dealt, plus 12 for the Bones vs. Large. Charge bonus make them hit twice as hard for a short period of time after the initial charge. And they are attacking all of them, or almost all of them, because the dragon is just so large. And the dragon seems to be losing half of his health at this moment. Let me position myself slightly better. But now, after the charge bonus has dissipated, as you can see, it's holding its own. And the problem when you are facing any large creatures, single creatures, is that they just don't die. The Pegasus Knights will start to lose men, and therefore the actual attack. Also, they are no longer surrounding the dragon. So it's disfavorable situation right now for the Pegasus Knights. And now you can see they are going toe to toe, even though the Pegasus Knights started at so much advantageous position, and now they are losing men. Only 17 left. And as you can see, this fight go on. The dragon is winning because those guys have less and less men. And it ended in a narrow win of the dragon. Obviously, in multiplayer situation, the Royal Pegasus Knights would still win. This is not how you use the Forest Dragon, quite obviously, because they messed up the charge. However, we've seen some important mechanics here regarding those guys. If they are against large hitbox and they charge, they would hit a lot, and that's quite a lot. Now, let's actually test how the Royal Pegasus Knights, when I'm charging, will deal with the Glade Lord. You know, there is a difference in strength between the two, but before, the Royal Forest Dragon without almost getting any damage. What is the real difference between the Glade Lord and the Forest Dragon when it comes to aerial combat? One guy got hit, but he survived. And the same situation as before, the dragon is losing health, but it's not losing health as fast as before. Also, the Pegasus Knights seem to be losing more health than before, and they already lost one guy. So you can imagine what will happen in the previous situation in prolonged combat. The Forest Dragon actually started to win with those guys. In here, now the Lord has actually popped Potion of Toughness. And those guys are dropping, there is only 17 of them, Potion of Toughness just dissipated. But this is pretty obvious how this will end. Yes, Glade Lord on the Forest Dragon defeated those guys very handedly. Very handedly. He's almost at 3/4 of his health after the potion. He will still be able to fight, and he will fight quite a lot. Now, what those guys would be good at fighting? Well, maybe different monsters. Even when facing a large, anti-large monster, it will be pretty much the same mechanics as with the Forest Dragon, with minor difference that Shaggot cannot catch them because those guys are flying. So we can cycle charge those guys. And the first charge, this single charge, taken so much health from the Shaggot. More than 1/3 health. He hit them twice, he hit them thrice, and they're running away. He hit one guy once, but they didn't lose anything. The Shaggot is still trying to... Oh, that's some messed up charge. That's very messed up charge. They will not go. You cannot always get a good charge. So he managed to kill a few of them, but we still have 21. And this charge, if it will work out great, he should not be able to survive this. And this worked out perfectly. All those guys absolutely dropped on him, and his health is melting. And he's gone. With 19 Pegasus Knights still alive, the Shaggot, who cost a lot more, by 400 more than the Royal Pegasus Knights, is dead very, very, very quickly. So they are good against fighting those monsters. How about different anti-large cav? Well, we do have Blood Dragons. But the Blood Dragons are both very powerful, and also stationary land. They are actually not stationary, but they are land-based units, so they will be stronger than flying unit because flying unit has more tactical options, shall we say. So let's try cycle charging into the Blood Knights. First charge. First charge into Blood Knights seem to be work pretty well. They already lost 2 and their health is melting away. But the problem with the Blood Knights is that there is a lot of them. They lost 5. And our Royal Pegasus Knights didn't lost a single, now they lost 1 guy. 52. Obviously this is not a situation we want to prolong, we want to cycle charge them. So we are trying to run away, and most of our guys did run away. But because some of them are lost, they are trying to go land actually. And the ones that that cannot go back. There is very weird situation where we did disengage finally, but our almost healthy unit of 21 Royal Pegasus Knights go down to 14. Which is obviously quite disadvantageous. So you have to be very careful. You might not be able to disengage from such a unit, even if you get a good charge, because we didn't intermix with those units like greatly, but still. And this is the end. With only 11 of those guys killed. Very, very, very bad. But, and this is when we were charging, in the real life situation it would be even worse. So what would happen if we do charge, or if we... yeah. Cycle charging is obviously the key to using this unit, but maybe this time we shouldn't. So as you can see, at first it's going pretty well. However, at some point it's starting to be again beat even combat, right? At the beginning those guys lost a lot, but now they are getting back on their feet, and even though they are losing knights, they still have plenty knights that are not really fighting, and the Royal Pegasi are losing men, and these gaps are being filled with Blood Knights. And as the battle prolongs, they almost broke, almost. But they will still be fighting because they are, undead. And as you can see, the Royal Pegasus Knights surrounded by the Blood Knights. And this is the end. So Blood Dragons still very much more powerful than those guys. However, those guys do have some interesting options, shall we say, tactical options. The Royal Pegasus Knights are still very, very good unit. If you saw Warhammer multiplayer, you would know that the Bretonia had the Flying Goon Squad when they had Pegasus Knights, and then they have a Legendary Lord, depending on the patch. It would be Luen or it would be just a generic Lord, but those guys would be quite deadly, flying around killing your lords, and there will be very little you can do about it. Well, this unit is even more powerful. Let's see against Karl Franz. Karl Franz without his magical items, 1900 something against 1600 of the Royal Pegasus Knights. So pretty much the same price as Glade Lord on a dragon, but doesn't have healing potion. But as you can see, is very capable fighter and is able to take down those Pegasus Knights one by one. Although it's not an easy fight for him. Alright, so no point in attacking the Lord with those guys? Well, you wouldn't attack them alone, and there is not like any other faction can put on something as powerful as those guys, Royal Pegasus Knights, which was seen when you were facing the dragon, the Forest Dragon. Let's see what we can do about this Karl Franz. This will be fully kited Karl Franz with cost over 2800, almost 29. This is the lowest possible version of Flying Paladin, which costs 950 plus 1600 of the Royal Pegasus Knights, so a lot less. And this is simple combined arms, taking advantage of that your enemy is both slower and also only has one unit, so you can cycle charge the other one. And the speed of both of those guys are 105, which is slightly more than Karl, but it should be enough. Making sure he is engaged, although that wasn't really necessary. I would rather take this charge on the Paladin than my Pegasus Knights. As you can see, the Paladin is taking this damage. And it's taking a lot of it, but a single charge, even on the smaller hitbox Karl Franz, is enough. And Karl Franz can't really do a lot. We are cycle charging our Pegasi pretty fast, and this is the second charge. And as you can see, his health is melting away, but so is his leadership, so we will stay with him for slightly longer to break him. And the worst about it for him is that There is very little he can do about it. He cannot run away. Those units are faster. So yeah, we stayed on him for like 20 seconds and he broke. So only 2 charges it took to take this guy down, and it lasted actually less than a minute. So that's also quite interesting. You can take him down very, very fast, and then you can go and hunt the other parts of the enemy army, and you can take that even further. To a lord with a group of flying units and flying units group. I'm not using my flying lord here just to paladins, just to show you how powerful this combination is. So those guys cost 4,000. Mine costs exactly 500 less. So we engage both dragons. Then we are doing a charge on one of them, on the Lord one. But just because he was first, and he's taking a lot of damage. And now we are retreating to do a cycle charge. The dragons try to follow, but it's not very good at it. And he already lost quite some health. So being charged by those Pegasus Knights drops his health like before very, very quickly because of his large hitbox. He's surrounded. There is very little he can do. This guy is running away with little less than half of his health, but we can still cycle charge. And this Glade Lord, he used his potion. He's not very good condition right now, but we just need to cycle charge a bit. And we didn't even needed to do a second cycle charge. Those guys still have 19 units. So a lot of health on those units, and the enemy is vanquished. So I hope this showed how good of the unit the Royal Pegasus Knights are, where are their strong points, and how to use them, and how to not use them. And this is pretty much it. I hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you did, and see my other videos. In Total War Warhammer, I'm doing mod reviews, mechanics videos, DLC analysis and speculation videos, but I also do Let's Plays in Total War series and other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.